Welcome to Hood Champion Boxing and Sports. In boxing, you find a way to win or you find a way to lose. Breaking news. Donald Trump been signing all kind of executive orders. Word on the street is, it's a rumor now, he signed an executive order on day one of taking office for Terence Crawford to whip Canelo's ass. Now, I don't know how true that is. That's the goddamn rumor. Anyway, no respect. That's what I fully expect to happen at some point between Terence Crawford and Canelo Alvarez. Now make sure y'all like and subscribe to the channel. Follow me on Twitter. Leave a donation so I can go out here and get me some of this curry duck, dal rice, watercress, and cucumber. Now look, we all know Canelo is very respectful. Very respectful. Actually, mild-mannered to a point when discussing fighters during press conferences. But if you poke the bear, the redhead bear, Canelito, all that respect shit goes out the window. And one thing for sure is, you're not going to get in his face. You're not going to threaten him. You're not going to try to nudge him or touch him. Canelo will fire on you. That being said, Crawford is also very respectful and can be kind of mild-mannered in a sense until the trash talking starts. And once that starts, Crawford's going to dish it back. And the thing about Crawford, like Canelo, if he's face-to-face with you, it's all good. Just don't touch him and don't be overly disrespectful because he'll fire on you too. And when you have two personalities like that, I'm telling you, I think the niceness, the respectfulness, all that shit is going to eventually go out the window. These two may not even get to the ring because once the press conferences start and the face-off starts, I truly believe one of them may goddamn hit the other one. Because let me tell you something. You see all this stuff when it comes to fighting, combat sports, Crawford and Canelo included, right? You see this shaking hands and giving a high five and pats on the back and even hugs to an opponent. I think that's traditional. But traditions are made to be followed, also broken. And I can see the tradition being broken because there's so much at stake right now. And the same way boxing fans, on either side, they're acknowledging the things about that Crawford does good, the things that Canelo does well. But and Canelo and Crawford acknowledge those same things in each other. But one thing's for sure, they'll also be able to acknowledge if the disrespect takes place and all that traditional shit's going to go out the window. Canelo's already shown you that he won't shake somebody's hand. You know what I'm saying? Crawford's the same way. He doesn't care. They're both showing you, if they knock you out in the ring, they'll sit there and have you looking stupid. Canelo seems to have a little softer heart in him than Crawford. Crawford just has a mean streak in him. But the bottom line is, after the fight, will they show respect? Well, that's my thing. Now, I really want to know is if Canelo knocks out Crawford, how's that gonna go? Especially if there's trash talk leading up to it. Is Canelo going to basically treat him like he did Erislandy Lara and be very disrespectful when questions are asked? Or is he going to be more accommodating and show that he's a true champion and say, hey, look, all the trash talk, forget it. He proved that he had balls and he jumped up a couple weight divisions to challenge me and I respect him for that. He's great where he was, but up here, we're just too big for him. I don't know. But I do think that for both of them, no matter what happens in the fight, even though I think Crawford can't show any respect to Canelo, I think there's going to be some kind of relief now for Terence Crawford. He's got to just step to Canelo. He's got to step to him. When I say step to him, I'm not talking about when the bell rings. I'm talking about as of yesterday. Look, people, if y'all didn't know, I think the fight's taking place on September 13th. It's official. Now, I don't know what's going to happen with the in-between fight for Crawford or with Canelo, but word on the street is both of them are supposed to have an interim fight. I personally think that's dumb. But it is what it is. Because there's a chance that both of them can lose. Now, they got to be very careful in the opponent that they're picking. This word on the street that Crawford's supposed to be fighting Derevyanchenko, let me tell y'all, that's a whole nother video right there. Crawford fighting Derevyanchenko. I know Derevyanchenko didn't look that good against Billy, but that man got to the finish line with using one arm. And him against Crawford, I'm just not so sure Derevyanchenko, even though he's really past his prime, man. And I don't think Andre Rozier can do anything. Andre Rozier ain't Robert Garcia, in my opinion. But I don't know. I don't know if Derevyanchenko can really pull the trigger at this point in his career. But if he has anything left in him, because one thing for sure, he's going to fight you. Crawford could be in tough, man. Now, does he lose? I'm not saying that. I think he has a better chance against Derevyanchenko than he had against Madrimov, and put it to you that way. And he beat Madrimov. So he should win the fight, but he just can't. He can't show respect, but I don't understand this shit about Crawford fighting this. Like I'm saying, I just think about Derevyanchenko. That guy is super durable, but he's just had a pound of flesh beaten out of him. So that being said, Crawford should be able to go in there, man, and clip him and be on cruise control until the Canelo fight. Now, as far as what Canelo's going to do, I don't know. But I think Crawford, as of right now, should be calling out Canelo, disrespecting him, and be glad that Trump signed the executive order for him to get in the ring and do the business. But I tell you what, just Crawford sharing that ring with Derevyanchenko, and if he beats him, which I think he will, I just think when he gets ready to go on to Canelo, that's just gonna, because Derevyanchenko is about Canelo's size, has a similar fighting style, not the exact same, but if Crawford can get in there and impose his size, impose his reach, impose his speed, that snapping power that he has, and use that IQ and show that ambidexterity that he has, I am telling you, man, that's going to be a good measuring stick for him getting in the fight with Canelo. Now, I'm not saying it's going to be he can basically have a cookie cutter type approach to Canelo and just adopt everything he did from Derevyanchenko fight and go fight Canelo that way. That's not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is it should build Crawford's confidence big time to be like, shit, if I stick behind this jab, if I use my lateral movement, use my counter punching, but then at time hold my ground and fight him, then that's going to give me a great chance to win. Now, these people talking about Crawford is going to come out here and he's going to knock Canelo out. Let me tell you something. I think it's a natural inclination as human beings when you are a fan of someone to see them or want to see them knock somebody out. But we gotta make sure we're doing the right research. You just can't come out here and predict Crawford violently knocking out Canelo just because you're a fan of Crawford. Now to that I say, in the most respectful way, is to hold your horses. Because the reality is this, man. I've studied people. A lot of years of studying people, right? And I still sit back and observe a lot when I'm out and about. But for a long time, I've studied people. And let me tell you something. I look at people's behaviors, and I look at the reason how they're behaving and under what circumstances, right? And when I look at Crawford, he's a guy, his behavior is that of a consummate professional, but also of someone who has a huge chip on his shoulder. And depending on his environment and his circumstances, right, Crawford doesn't always take the high road. Crawford doesn't have any problem with still being grimy. Now, it's funny when I see him post shit on Twitter about these guys are lucky I've changed or I'm not the same person that I used to be. You know what? I like to say those same things too. But depending on the situation, all of those dormant qualities that you have that you really don't like about yourself, if someone pushes the right button, all of that dormant shit will surface. And Crawford has that. And I definitely think, man, with those behaviors that aren't really beneficial to him, being in the position he's in, because you can't just be out here being grimy all the time and cussing and carrying on and just wanting to fight everybody. But I think under certain circumstances, that comes out. And I think the circumstances of him getting through a Derevyanchenko fight with so many people doubting him being able to clip Canelo, I think that's going to drive his behavior to be a bit more aggressive in his delivery about what he plans on doing to Canelo. And as a result, those circumstances are going to drive a change in Canelo's behavior, where his quills are going to come out, and he's going to be like, you know what, man, fuck you. I'm the big dog here. A great big man always beats a great little man. And you're a little man compared to me. Know your place, you yuppie puppy. Anyway, man, I just think it's a discrepancy in size here. I know Crawford's tall, he's long, but I just really feel there's a discrepancy in size. And when you look at the opponents, I think the size is going to have a great effect on the fight if Crawford really can't make the adjustments he's used to, if he really can't put a dent in Canelo like he's accustomed to doing to opponents, and if Canelo is able to really step to him and cut that ring off, and the ambidexterity that Crawford shows doesn't prove beneficial in this fight. But I'll say this, man, you know, when it comes to some athletes are the exception to everything. And no matter what Crawford does, I think Canelo's going to adjust. Whatever Canelo does, I think Crawford's going to adjust. But I think it's going to boil down to who can make the most adjustments. And if we're going to say solely that the fighter who's going to win is the fighter who can make the most adjustments, for me, it's kind of hard to say, because I've watched both of those guys fight, right? You don't get to the point to where they both reach if you can't make adjustments in the ring. And I know a lot of people want to say Crawford can make the most adjustments. No, man. You don't get to where Canelo is, right, and the way he dominates opponents if you're not able to make adjustments. And I know against Bivol that he just wasn't able to make adjustments, you know what I'm saying? And I will say this, if things aren't really going his way, he seems to just get a little bit frustrated. But he's normally winning. But I do think he seems to get a little bit frustrated. But at the same time, you know, I'm inclined to show the respect and the recognition for Canelo and what he's been able to accomplish to this point. There's got to be some depth of adjustment qualities that he has. Now, for Crawford, we know he can. You look at his last fight with Madrimov. There was adjustment after adjustment being made every second of every round. He and Madrimov both changing level, changing gears, making adjustments. That shit was chess, boy. High-level chess. Very impressive. And I don't think Crawford's going to have to be that way with Canelo because Canelo doesn't move and operate like Madrimov. But the bottom line is, man, a discrepancy in size, let me tell you what, that could be, for us, it could be probably the second greatest predictor on how a fight's going to go. First could just be, you know, of course, the person's accomplishments. But definitely, man, the second greatest predictor could just be that size, man, because the weight class is for a reason. And it is what it is. That being said, y'all keep cool. Shout out to the veterans, all 7 continents. Terence Crawford can't show Canelo any respect. He's got to go in there. He's got to start from today. Being disrespectful and believing in himself and just going at Canelo. Get Canelo uncomfortable. Force Canelo to say, you know what, I want to beat this guy. I want to hurt this guy. I want to show this guy he doesn't belong. And the more an opponent opens up on Crawford, the more there's a chance for Crawford to just, with his pinpoint accuracy, right, and those huge hands of his, those huge exploding fists of his, right, to counter Canelo and hurt him. Just to stand there and exchange with him, I don't think that's going to work. But I think he's got to get Canelo coming towards him and use his advances and his aggression against him. And I think those Crawford bing-bings and the pinpoint accuracy of those exploding fists are going to prove detrimental to Canelito. But if he can't do that, oh boy, not going to be good. Trump going to have to sign. He going to have to deploy the goddamn military in the ring because it's going to get ugly in there. Anyway, y'all keep cool. Shout out to the veterans, all 7 continents. I'm about to hit this gym in the breeze.